Okay, in this episode, we're talking about breaking doubt and moving into belief. This is so important, especially for those of us who are in the working class, the middle class, because we are so inundated with so many things that feed our doubt and cause our belief to be dissolved or siphoned out. So I want to talk to you about how do you break doubt, because doubt is something that can be broken. It can be broken. It can be broken in an area of your life literally forever. I know that is a huge claim for me to make, but in this episode, hopefully, I will get you to buy into what I'm selling right now, because what the statements that I'm making in this episode, um, they are they are based in wisdom, and at the same time, I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to get you to move from doubt into belief. But you'll see what I'm saying as I go on in this episode, because I tend to fumble my words because I get so excited about these episodes when I'm teaching them that sometimes I can't always gather my words. But hey, you're going to give me grace. All right. So breaking doubt and moving into belief. Okay. What is doubt at its basis? What is doubt? Doubt is simply uncertainty about something, right? It's a uncertain thing about something. It's when you don't have enough evidence, right? So it's a sense of uncertainty. It's a sense uh, of lacking in certain areas. This is just my own definition of what doubt really is, you know, and I see it as uncertain. When we look at the news, when we look at politics, when we look at different things that's going on in your community and my community, uncertainty is always in the forefront of what everybody's saying. They make us uncertain about whether you can walk down the street at night, whether you can buy this, whether it's going to, this particular thing is going to be available still, or you're going to have conflicts here and conflicts there, here or there, here or there, everywhere a conflict. They always try to feed our doubts, that sense of uncertainty. So many people think, okay, the way to combat, social media or media or entertainment from feeding us a lot of doubt and disbelief, we're just going to turn off the TV, And it's like, yeah, that's one way to kind of do it, but you still have to go to work, you still have to go to the grocery store, you still have to go and get gas, you still have to do other things in life that's still feeding your doubt. When you go to the gas station and you look at in California where I stay, we have the highest gas tax probably in the whole country. When I go to the gas pump, and I remember it when it used to be $2 and now it's $5, and I look at my income, what is that feeding? My doubts. How long can I keep this up? Will I be able to afford this? Will I be able to afford this? Ooh, excuse me. I know my sneezes are weird. Yeah. Uh, they're feeding my doubt. So doubt is always perpetuated in every facet of life that we're in. And like I said, I mean, I know this is weird for me to say, but it's fair enough, because what's on the opposite end of doubt is belief. There are two sides of the same coin, in my opinion, from my perspective. So when people push doubt as hard as they're pushing, you got to ask yourself, they're pushing this because they're trying to cover up this, right? So you're pushing uncertainty because there is something else that is certain. Let me prove myself, as I go in. I'm not going to reveal everything. Hey, continue to watch this full episode because, man, it's a lot of meat of wisdom in this episode that's going to help to shape your perspective on life and help to give you something that really gives you this fresh zest to really push through the fog until you see the light. Yeah, I just made that up. Okay, there's three ingredients of doubt. Three ingredients. When we're thinking about doubt, there's three major ingredients. This is why many people feel that sense of uncertainty, along with other things that produce doubt. The three things are they have no foresight. Have you noticed that many things will try to cut off your ability to be able to see tomorrow? They overwhelm you with so much stress of the day. What is going on in this country? Is there going to be a war? Is there going to be famine? Are there the gas price is going to go up? Who is going to be the new president? We're dealing with this conflict. We're dealing with that conflict. They flood you with so much that it stifles many people from their ability to have foresight, to look into tomorrow, to look into next week, to look into next year. Now, given in mind that tomorrow is not promised to any of us in that regard, but nevertheless, we all have the ability to have foresight. We all have it. If you are a person that's a dreamer, that's an idealist, that is a strategic, calculating, whatever, you have to have foresight to do what you do. So foresight is not something that's so spirit based that it's only for some and not others. Everybody has it, just in different measures. Okay, but if somebody takes away your foresight, they're feeding your doubt. Okay, so that's one indicator of doubt. The next indicator is they make you afraid of risk. When they begin to talk about, especially during the times of COVID, they were like, hey, everybody shelter in place, hoard up tissue and water, which, hey, I didn't even understand that. It's like, why are we hoarding up tissue and water when many of us don't even know how to make penicillin? I mean, you know, shouldn't we hoard up other essential things that will be more valuable than whether I need toilet paper, that kind of thing? Anyway, I ain't gonna get into that. That's not my fight. Okay, but they make you afraid of taking risks. I've always said on this platform that this is the generation where new millionaires, new innovators are gonna come to the forefront. This everything is setting itself up for these people to become the next thing. I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you. If you ever want to write a book, if you ever want to start a company, if you ever want to start your own website, your own podcast, now is the time. It is so easy to move into those platforms in comparison to 5 years ago, where the barrier to entry, the learning curve was very stifling to learn a lot of the editing things that people do now with CapCut and Canva and different ones, Premiere Pro that I use. It was stifling years ago to get past that learning curve just to be able to edit videos like we easily do right now. Right now. They made it very, very easy. So, but they make you afraid of the risk to try. Many people are at jobs right now that you should have left at least 6, 7 years ago. But for some reason, there are things that are causing you to have doubt. Doubt. I don't have enough money yet. All of my ducks are not in a row yet. That's afraid of risk. Those are the ingredients of things that feed doubt. All right. The last thing is there is no physical person to example your potential. This one here is a huge one. When you don't have foresight, you're afraid to take risk, and there is no person to be the example of the potential that is in you. Now, understand what I'm saying. There are direct examples and there are indirect examples. When you buy a person's book, they are indirect, right? If you had a personal mentor, if you was personally mentored by this millionaire, that is direct. Please do not misunderstand indirect from direct. A indirect person can inspire you to make certain steps, but you will always need a direct person in order for you to sustain it. Every superstar, every millionaire, every single one have people that is in arm reach of them that are the example of their potential. If you listen to the one that's very popular now, you listen to Andrew Tate. You look at the millionaires that inspired him when he started casinos and different things like that. It was physical people who were making way more money than him. Way more money. So because he was in arm reach of these people, he was able to sustain what he created. Without a physical person, your potential will not come into maturity. You need a person. All right, you hear what I'm saying? Now, there's many people think, okay, well, I can go into these different dimensions and it's a whole spiritual thing. Hey, I understand it. I'm not going to dabble into that at all. But what I'm talking about is physical people. Oh, if we look at, just like parents in the home, if the uncle steps up to take the place of the dad that is not there, even though the uncle can feel that manly role in a sense of being a role model, he's still not the dad. He's still not the dad. Unless you have a man who is either the father or the stepfather in that role as a father, everybody else is indirect motivation. They're indirect. That's fact. They're indirect. Everybody needs that closer walk, that close relationship with somebody who can help birth your potential. All right. This is why doubt is so strong many times in the middle class. You can walk up to a middle class person right now in many levels, on many levels of it, and talk about making multi-millions. Just talk about making multi-millions. They would get squeamish and they would tell you all the reasons why it's not possible for them. They're so filled with doubt just talking about something that is so big on that level. The only way we can accept that is that we won it in the lottery. It was something just by chance or by luck. Luck shows you that doubt is in place. You can't make it on your own strides or your own big idea. It's got to be given to you by the luck of the draw because you doubt your ability to produce it, right? So these are the three ingredients that producing doubt. So when you're looking in your life right now, are these three ingredients evident in your life? Because from time to time, you'll find that people who are writers, they would get what is called writer's block. What is writer's block? It's when your foresight has been cut off and you cannot get your thoughts straight enough to progress in the book. Why? Because you don't have the sight. Believe it or not, you write a book based upon something that you see in your mind, not what you have thought about. The thoughts are just transcriptions of something that you see. So you saw something, your thoughts transcripted, your hands began to write it. I didn't even script that in this right here, but nevertheless, so they don't have foresight. So you got to think about, are these evident in my life right now? If so, then doubt is very prevalent. All right, let's get into how to break doubt and get into belief. So there's a formula for belief. There's a formula for belief. Believe it or not, there's a formula for belief. Many people do this, and they do it in a way where it can be deemed religious, but it's just a formula. It's a formula to make sure that belief is constantly growing in your life. Hey, you ready for this? You want to hear it? The first part of the formula is that you got to have knowledge. The only way to decipher one thing over another thing, you got to have the supporting evidence as to why this here is better than this. Why do you consider this here good and this here bad? There's got to be supporting evidence for you to be able to have it. You got to have knowledge. You got to have knowledge to know that 1 + 1 is 2. You got to have the knowledge to know that. If somebody told you that and you were just a person who regurgitated what other people said and you didn't have your own knowledge basis, see, that is not belief. That is just what you call tailgating. You know, you riding on somebody else's coattail of faith or belief, and you don't even know what you're talking about at all. But belief must have knowledge. It must have a knowledge base. Okay. Number 2, belief must have wisdom, the ability, the skill to apply the knowledge, the skill to apply it. So belief will always the belief itself wants to be applied to something. There is no such thing as belief without application. Belief can start with knowledge base, but without the application, you're not talking about belief. You ever heard like how they promote a fight? And the people that they're promoting this boxing fight or this UFC fight, they'll be talking in their corners on how they're going to beat the person. And I believe I'm gonna knock this person out in this many minutes. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round. See, all of that is knowledge based upon their training when they was training with their trainer yet, but it hasn't been applied yet because you're not even in the ring with that person. You will find that this person is talking about how he's going to knock this person out. You get in the ring and you're knocked out. Because just because you're hyping something doesn't mean that you are applying belief, because belief only happens once you get in the ring. When you get in the ring, belief can only be applied in that area. When you're working on the job, and while you're working on the job, you was thinking about starting a side hustle. Until you move in that direction where you're starting a side hustle, you don't believe yet. You're just contemplating. Without application, you're just contemplating. All right. Okay. You must have a simple plan. A simple plan. If you go back to my previous video where I show you what my simple plan is, which is BI flows into R, it's a simple plan that shows that helps you to choose something based upon your own conviction. To choose something based upon your own conviction. So the reason why I connect with this person's book is because my convictions are in line with this person's book. The reason why I bought this person's course, because my convictions are in line with this person's course. Are you flowing with me? So you got to have a simple plan. Simple plan. This is why I want what I want. When you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom to apply it, you create a simple plan to get you really going in that direction. Then once you get the result of the plan, right? You must become belief. You must become belief. Let me say it again. You must become belief. Have you ever noticed that the late great Michael Jackson or the late great Elvis Presley, these superstars, they would walk in the building and people would start fainting? Why would they faint? It's like, why did you get that reaction? I mean, well, because this person embodied something. When they walked in a room, they embodied something. So it's possible to embody belief. Embody belief. When you think about basketball, when you think about great players in basketball, Larry Bird, Dr. J, Magic Jordan, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Stephen Curry, Bron James, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Shaq, Kobe, they embodied the game. They became something else. How Kobe said on the commercial, you become the same animal but a different beast. You become belief. In order to break doubt, you must become belief. See, you thought I was going to be talking about, some of this hoo-ha, that people talk about when breaking down. Oh, you got to meditate on good things and you got to confess. It's like, come on, see, that's just soft bunk. You have got to become belief. When a father does right by his family, does right by his wife, does right by his kids, and even though he don't get a lot of credit or attaboys, he becomes a father to such a degree that it's undeniable that when he get around other people, they can feel a father has come in a room. They can feel a real man. I mean, I've been around real men that when they walk in a room, you can tell that that's a solid guy. That's a pretty solid guy. They just walk in the room, didn't say anything, but you can tell because they have become something. The breaking of doubt, you must become something else. You cannot talk your way out of doubt on a consistent basis. You cannot meditate your way out of doubt on a consistent basis. You cannot go and, find a way to distract yourself, so you won't feel doubt, do all these little ritual things. You can't run forever. You cannot run forever. You must become belief. Become it. When you went out and you achieved your goal on that job, you achieved your goal in the gym, you achieved your goal in the household, you became something. You used to be a person that made $40,000 a year. Now you became a person that makes $100,000 a year. The $100,000 a year person and the $40,000 a year person are the same person, but this person up here that's $100,000 is a different beast. Different beast. The 100,000 person knows what it's like to be a $40,000 a year person. They know he understands what it is, or he or she understands what it is to be that. But because they achieve what they achieve, they are a different beast. When they're trying to feed you doubt, the only way for you to reject the meal that they're trying to feed you, you got to become a whole nother person. A true vegan can sit at the table with everybody eating what normal people eat. And because they are a whole nother kind of person, they can easily reject it. They can break it with confidence. They can break it without a sweat. Can you break it, doubt, without a sweat? You have broken doubt many times in your life. You just didn't realize who you had to become in order to do that. Now, what I mean by becoming belief, see, belief is something that begins to flow in you. It's a constant uh, uh, wellspring that's flowing in you at all times, so that whenever I have a big idea about something, I don't think within my heart that I can't do it. I don't think in my heart that, that I have the potential, No, whenever I have a big idea, the only thing I'm thinking is when I want to start. I don't think that I can't do it. I think, when can I start? When can I start? Now, that level of belief is on you, what you want to aim the belief at, but you must become the belief. Now, here is a crass example. It's weird, but I feel like this will help me to emphasize the point I'm trying to make. Uh, there was one quote that somebody said on a movie about guns. They was like, do guns kill people? And the person said, no, guns don't kill people. Stupid people with guns kill people. It's like, so the gun itself is just the mechanism by which the person who had the intent executed what he needed to execute. So the gun itself was just the tool used for what was in that person's heart when he picked up the gun, right? That person with the gun, if it was a murder thing, he became a murderer. He just used the gun to fulfill who he already or she already was. So you can embody belief. We do it all the time. Any first time mothers who never had a handbook on being a mom just stepped up to the plate and became a mom, became a mom, became a CEO, became a this, or became that. You get, and on the only way to break doubt, nobody's never going to always tell you that. No, the only way to break doubt, you got to become belief. Listen, I didn't want to go deep on this episode at all, but sometimes it happens, and I hope you get something from this. Listen to this over and over again. We're talking about breaking doubt and moving into belief, and I showed you exactly from my extent on how you do that. And I hope you got something from it. Listen, in my next episode, I'm going to be talking about how to re-energize your purpose. See, we're going into levels now. How to re-energize your purpose. I want you to move from doubt, get into belief. Now we're going to re-energize your purpose, because right now is the time for you to step out there and take a risk. Hey, this is Starsky Inspires Middle Class Mindset. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.